Go my ass, don't give a shit what I've been through. Fence tie shit, I'ma make it something I did too. If he talking shit, then I'ma hit him with that pistol.
Welcome to another Three Aficionados. That's Sukasa leading us in. We're going to talk about all things analog, cars, watches, other afflictions that I have. And right now, just bending over in my garage under the hoist, trying to not get decapitated. Boys, going to talk about the new updates to the garage and the wrist. And of course, the new 911 ST. So let's pop it off. Nobody's drinking, I hope, because it is clearly too early for this.
Well, here in Toronto it's 1 o'clock, but I'm still on a blended coffee kind of drink thing.
Ooh,
Yeah,
nice.
get the day started right.
We all know that Peter's, hiding his Vizzy off camera right here.
Exactly. Yeah. This is vodka water.
Only the best.
Vodka.
Boys, what's sporting on the wrist? I think that we're gonna start with Daniel because Peter's got the bunker.
Oh yeah, let's go with this. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna pop it off for you. I got my classic Victorinox Bat Master 500 down all up in here. Titanium, beautiful piece, and I love it. So here we go. Have a quick peek at it, and then I'm gonna pass it all off. Anybody who wants to know more about it, oh, they know where to hit me up.
We know what it is, and it's mostly just a reflection of our dumb faces in the camera. It's a beautiful watch, and it's definitely a gun on your wrist. I'm wearing the
Thank you very much.
Pepsi here on the Jubilee. It's the BLRO. It's always a classic. Probably doesn't get enough wrist love, but sometimes I have to give Daniel enough wrist love. So yeah.
So smooth with it.
The other thing I got also is on the double wrist is I got the moon watch back. Now that Peter took over my moon watch, I needed to get a new one, and I feel like it's actually a bit different from the old one. The gray seems a little bit more, I don't know, bluish, and the strap seems a little bit more supple. I don't know. It kind of bends to my wrist much better than the old version.
It seems more conformed than the other one is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Interesting.
I must have listened to all of the internet hate and decided to do a tiny little thing about it.
Well, I wasn't gonna.
Not much, because you clearly can't tell, but
I wasn't gonna stand in line for the gold dust one with the chrono hand that they keep on changing the pattern on.
Good.
But I think Peter's got the big duster.
Yeah, we're excited for this.
If I would have been more prepared, I probably would have, had the box and everything, but I kind of forgot that I haven't shown it on camera yet. So apologies to everyone, but this is the new. Well, it's honestly not that new at this point, but this has probably been in the collection now for a month, so I can give you a little bit of a month on the wrist. But it's the Tissot PRX, the automatic. It's the 40 or 41 millimeter version with the ice blue dial. I'll tell you, I really enjoy this watch. You guys have seen it both in person. It's pretty, I think, incredible for the price point. It feels pretty nice on the wrist. I've had it for now, like I said, over a month, and I love it. I enjoy it every time I wear it. It's super comfortable. It looks good. I even saw one on someone else's wrist the other day, and it took me a couple seconds to figure out what it was at first, just because it's kind of looks like a few different watches, and it doesn't by any means necessarily look. I think for the price point, it looks like a more expensive version, even though this is like not saying that it's not necessarily a relatively cheap watch. It's still like $900 something. So it's past like the. You could call it entry. I don't know. It depends on everyone has a different, I guess, variation of what their price points are, right? So, but anyways, I would say it's a little bit past kind of like your more entry level personally for me. But I like it. I think it's cool. I enjoy it. You guys have seen it. It's a cool watch. I would recommend it for anyone who's looking for something in this price point. I think it looks a little bit more than what it is. The dial looks great. I've had a lot of compliments on it And yeah,
It's the light blue dial with the tapestry dial as well, and the integrated bracelet for those who can't see, and it's got the open case back as well. And so
yes.
I actually saw that there was an update on Hodinkee about new Powermatic PRXs, and one of them's gold, and one's the same dial that you have there. So now that you're an expert here, Peter, do you want to walk us through? Is this the same exact one, or is this smaller than yours? I think this is smaller, right? Because this is
This is the
35
smaller one.
millimeter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So they just released this because originally the 35mm didn't come with the ice blue dial, and then I just quite recently they just released it in the ice blue dial. So now it would look like mine in the 35mm. And I think it's nice to offer both variations depending on what size wrist you have. I mean, I personally think the 41 is just about perfect for my wrist. I kind of think the 35 would be a little bit small. But yeah, it's depending. It's all depending on what kind of wrist you got. I don't love the gold one personally, but that's just me. I think the blue one's perfect. But yeah,
35 would be super tiny. I think that that would be mainly oriented to mostly female wrists because,
I agree.
wearing yours on my wrist, I've got tiny, effeminate wrists. I find that that was actually a perfect fit for me. Yeah, good on you. Well
Thank,
bought, sir. Well
thank
bought.
you. Yeah, no, it's a good watch. I like the stainless steel case, and overall, it's a good watch. I mean, it's got a lot of scratches on it already, but I don't. That's what it's made to do, right?
Well, whenever Peter has to flex, I have to stunt with a brand new 9 that I'll get out of the way for because we got to maintain the Wi-Fi, so we're not going to bring around the laptop. But it is in the X50 configuration, so it's got the extra power, but it's also been chipped. It's also got an exhaust, and it's lowered on H&R springs. It's got the slate gray metallic paint on black interior. It's got the sofas, and it's got the memory seats that Daniel always will remember on his Tookus. And yeah, we had a great road trip driving it all the way back from Ontario, where we bought it from the original owner. And yeah, it's a great car. It's a little bit harsh and low suspension for Alberta roads. After $3,000 of getting it right and updating the suspension issues that it needed to pass, it's a pretty nice driver. So yeah, it's a daily driver, I think.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful car. I think you should show the people what they want to see, and we can talk about it a little bit more after.
What they want? Am I supposed to take my pants off? What do you want to see?
Well,
I can't take it around the car because the Wi-Fi will break up and then nobody will hear anything. But look at this. This is the interior. That's a
oh, disappointing.
Look at it. Well, look at that.
Look at that. Look at that shady insides.
There's something weird
That's hilarious.
about fixes. The window here sometimes doesn't clear and it sticks out. And I was talking to my dad, it has like 996 turbos, and they all do that apparently. So yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Mhm.
That's that German engineering for you.
I discovered that like after, our entire road trip, it never did that. And then it like after getting back from all that work, I'm like, what the fuck? The door doesn't even close. So yeah, sometimes when I'm driving and I hear a little whistling, you'll just see my door fly open and just be like clunk. But other than that stupid idiosyncrasy, it's pretty good. It's a good car.
Very nice.
That's an amazing car to drive. It's pretty near perfect cross country cruiser.
Absolutely.
Yeah, could maybe use it to do with a little bit more hip space, a little more generous hip space for cruising, but otherwise there's not too many complaints.
Yeah. Well,
you just need to have earplugs with you so you can take a nap while the other person's driving. Otherwise, good luck. Never happen.
You're always trying to tune me out, but every once in a while, I gotta get in a word.
What was that?
every once in a while, I got to get in a word. You're always trying to tune me out, but yeah. So I wanna talk about the
Do you hear
one
something, Peter?
definitely replace this one. Go fuck yourself. The one that would definitely replace this, obviously, this has been all over the news, kind of broke the internet. The new 911 ST. It's the dream car. I think that this is basically the new 911R in the 992 configuration. 520 horsepower. It is the GT3 RS Touring, basically. It's got the GT3 RS flat six, naturally aspirated 4-liter engine with all the ITBs and all the technology that's in that. But without the wings, the aerodynamics, other than the side vent here, and then like the under aerodynamics that you get with a GT3 RS, this is basically they started with a touring body and then shoehorned a lot of technology from the RS and then made it like the lightest 992 out there. So as a result, I'm kind of shortlisted for a potential configuration, but who knows? I'm not holding my breath. And you can get it in the Heritage Pack, which is how I would do it, with this shore blue. It kind of looks almost like Etna blue, I think. It's sort of historical, and with the kind of white magnesium wheels. So yeah, I mean, this is basically everything I want in a car, and so I'm ready to sell that right now immediately if that allocation was available. But now that I've heard about this coming out for quite some time, I've had my name on the list. But there's a ton of people who had their name for a GT3 RS who are clamoring for it. I'm interested to hear, like, would you guys go for an RS or would you go for an ST? I feel like this is a big divider of the group. Peter, you're an RS guy.
No, man, I like that's like a completely that's like oh that's a hard decision. I honestly think like I probably would go with the GT3 RS, but I don't know though. That's the thing. Are we talking like forever car or are we
This is
talking
the
like a
forever
short
car.
term
This is
forever
the
car?
forever car. Yeah. For me, this would stay in the fleet
I
ongoing.
feel like this would probably be more of a forever car than the GT3 RS would be. Because for me, honestly, like I probably would prefer the GT3 RS in a short term version, just because that car is so incredible. But I just think like this like potentially could be like a forever car, right? But yeah, that's a super hard question. I don't know. I think maybe this, and I don't even feel necessarily 100% saying that, but I would probably say that I would choose this over the GT3R. I don't, yeah, I don't know.
The
I,
RS is always going to evolve and change, and
that's
become
the thing, right?
more track oriented and more
You can
capable.
always get another one.
This is
Like potentially,
classic. Yeah. Daniel, what do you think?
I understand the dilemma. It's not an easy decision. So let's picture a couple scenarios here. And the first scenario is just my reality is, that I'm getting older. I'm not old yet, but I'm getting older. I have a damage to my knees. So that makes driving a clutch on a daily basis difficult. But I do have a vehicle that I don't imagine I'd have to get rid of in order to attain this one. So that's an automatic, and I have no problem then reserving this for more special occasions.
So you're
So
saying,
similar situation, is with the other vehicle is true, is that I wouldn't need to get rid of the other vehicle in order to drive the GT3 RS, which then has the paddle shifter options. And I think that I agree with Peter where like I want the GT3 RS now, but I feel like I might want the other one to grow into and enjoy and kind of develop more of a relationship with. But then, as I said earlier, if I can revert back to issue A, is that my knees aren't getting any younger. So as I do get older, I may grow more out of love with a vehicle that then becomes a little bit more difficult to actually drive. So perfect world, perfect health, I would probably pick the ST. But The reality is that I would probably pick the GT3 RS out of personal comfort reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would
That's
just basically
hilarious
come
that you're
down to
saying
that.
comfort reasons GT3 RS, the hardcore
I
track
know.
doesn't even have a frunk storage.
I don't have hip problems. I just have knee problems.
Do you have teeth problems for them to rattle out of your mouth?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get like really increase some insurance for my dental bills or to my increase my dental insurance to take care of the added bills. Maybe find a good chiropractor. Who knows? Who knows? But
Yeah,
until my back is worse than my knees, I'll take a clutch-free car for regular driving, even though I do prefer driving a vehicle with a stick shift for, self-pleasure reasons.
self-pleasure is always very important.
It's always
And
better.
playing with the sticks.
Nothing better than a stick in your hand.
That's right. While I bend over here to just try to clear the lift here.
Steve's not gonna be able to move
So
out.
many phallic things. All right. So, but here's the thing. The rear steer has been deleted for this one because it's really more so about the driving experience and being like more one with the car and a little bit more analog. Would that be one that you think was a misstep, or because the 911R they still had it at that time, right? No one really knows how a 992 will really behave like this. This is the only like GT car that doesn't have rear steer, so it'd be kind of interesting to see it with all that technology, but no rear steer. Is it going to be as lively? I imagine it will be.
I think it'll be fine, yeah.
At just 3,000 pounds, it's pretty crazy. It feels
Totally.
like it's such a large car, but it's still like crazy, crazy light because of all the carbon fiber on the front, on the roof, on the door panel, and on the front fender panel, like that. Right there, that one. Yeah, definitely not on my
They,
car.
they they also only feel larger than past generations of these cars. So when you're in a 911 and you're in traffic, it sure still feels like a small car, even in the new generations. Maybe you have some different, sight lines, and yes, obviously a little bit bigger, but it's still a tiny car by a lot of standards.
But in the
So going a
996,
little bit bigger, it's not like a deal breaker to me.
this 996 Turbo, I feel like I'm in like a Mini Cooper. Like no one is
It is tiny.
actively having people turn directly into me, and it's just you've got to be way more of a defensive driver than even the GT2 RS. It's it's very hazardous.
It's a foxy one.
But even more complex to my stupid dilemma of things that I'm dreaming about, that I'm very privileged to even be able to be considered for, but we'll see if it even comes to fruition, is the alternative one that I've been constantly chasing. That would be the GT2 RS, or sorry, not the GT2 RS. The GT2 RS I think I would keep for the ST, but for the 4-liter, I think I'd have to probably get rid of everything to be able to afford this one. This one is coming into orbit, and it's currently quietly being considered for sale, but the guy wants all of the money. It's got, this is the D4-liter 997. It's got the carbon ceramic brakes. It does have the BBS lightweight wheels on it here, but it has the original stock wheels that were in black. It's a pretty lightweight configuration with the lightweight bucket seats. I personally haven't even seen it yet, but it's a one owner and it's only 7,000 something kilometers. So it's a garage queen, and unfortunately the guy wants garage queen prices, and I don't really want it for a garage queen. But there's so few of these that come up domestically in Canada, and with the import fees and everything, like to get a driver in the US would basically be the cost of getting this garage queen and even fulfilling this guy's ridiculous ask. So I don't know. I'm not sure which one. I feel like this is the same dilemma. Which one is the one that you want for the rest of your life? This is even more of a car where it's like, just bury me in this car, in the 4-liter, even than the ST. It's just like the car for me, and it just keeps on getting more and more solidified for me. But at the same time, the prices are crazy. and it requires that I'd have to sell the GT2 RS at the very least. So I know that Daniel's going to tell me I'm an idiot for even considering that. And if I had maybe the ST allocation for sure firmly fixed, and then you said to me, well, you just get rid of the turbo, you keep the GT2, you get an ST, and you have the 430 stick, that's a pretty insane collection, right? Problem is that I don't
Yeah.
have a promise of an ST, and it's still like pretty much a lottery. I think I'm shortlisted, but I think if they get as many allocations as they did Speedsters, because there's only going to be 1963 built, I think they got 3 last time. If I'm number 3, then maybe I make it, but I think that the first 2 are gone, so who knows? I'm like basically playing Russian roulette, and I don't know if I want to wait around and just assume that I'll be on that list. Although they're taking me seriously and taking my spec, but who knows? Would you just? I feel like Daniel, I know, is gonna say you're a fucking idiot for even considering the 4 liter and liquidating. I feel like I'm the only person who's gonna say that the 4 liter is worth it. Go ahead,
Basically.
talk me down off the ledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Peter and I are already on the same page, and you already explained our entire argument for us. So thank you for that.
I'm just gonna stand now.
I understand the love for the original 4.0 is deep and strong.
Yeah.
But I cannot understand the logic involved in going from a multi-car garage experience to a single car experience. No matter how good that, single car experience may be. And it's not a Koenigsegg. If you're liquidating for that, I'd be like, okay, go ahead, go get an Ajero. But
Or a CVT or
like
something.
no matter, it's just not this is also me trying to be nice because I like the 4.0 very much. But I just think that everything that we've learned over the last however many years will be taken and put into the new ST. And they know that people are dreaming of the days of the 4.0. So I think there's going to be some feeling about that put into the car. And then, yeah, how can you get rid of a GT2 RS to go down 200 and something horsepower? Not to say that horsepower is the end of the world, because it's not. It's just, I don't know, man. You pretty much said it all, and now I'm just now talking and talking and talking. So I'll pass it on to Peter.
I don't even know if there's anything else I need to say at this point. I'm just like, yeah, you really hit the head on the nail there. I don't like. I agree in a complete sense. Like, I think if you're liquidating everything, and it's like the only thing I think isn't acceptable, Porsche to be liquidating everything for. I understand even now, I think it's out of ground, but at the one point it would have been the CGT. I think obviously that's out of connection now, and I personally, I mean, I obviously haven't had like the experience that you have with the 4 liter, but for me, I just can't see like Daniel saying going into like almost like a backward step to because at one point you could have had that and then all the other cars, and it's like, don't get me wrong, it's not like it's not a great experience, but I think there's better things you could have in the collection personally. But that's yeah. But
I mean,
I haven't experienced the car ever, so that's an outsider perspective.
but I want to clarify the 430 would stay. That's not going anywhere. The only car that might have ever dislodged all of these cars, the 430, the GT2, and the Turbo, would be a CGT, yeah. But I couldn't see that being a justifiable experience because it's a car that I can barely drive on a fairly frequent basis. The 4 liter is still like, you can still drive it, and the 430 I would probably daily drive more. And then, I'll have other cars that are kind of more dailyable. Like I got the GR coming, I've got the Civic Type R coming. So, it's not so much a practicality perspective, but it's, I'll still have the 430 is the point. The other, aspect is I could really, really, really stretch if by some miracle the 4 liters possible and the ST allocation is offered to me, right? That would be ridiculous, but ST 4 liter and 430, basically, I'm done. I'm dead. I don't need anything else. But that's a
I know
lot.
that we can't. We
Everything needs to align, and I've got to win the lottery.
yeah.
I
Well,
might
I'm
as
gonna
well just
just
assume that I'm
interrupt
getting
you
a
until
lottery.
you're like, no, shut up. Like, no. Like, okay, so let's not question the garage depth. We understand that there's gonna be some reasonable at all points in the garage, so we don't have to take practicality into account. Like, look where you're standing. This is not a practical situation. Your
Yeah.
back is going to be like it's going to be in tons of pain by the time you're done. And I'm just talking about standing in your garage, not even driving one of your cars. So we don't have to worry about that. Even if you have something as stupid as a Golf, then you'll have something stupid, but at least you'll have something practical. So I don't know how you can go from having a supercar, which is faster than a Carrera GT, down to a sports car, and then be like, yeah, but it's better. No, I don't know. I don't know if you can go from a supercar to below a supercar class and then say it's better. I know that people are like, oh yeah, manual over everything. I'm like, okay, cool, man. That's fine. I'm not going to disagree with that argument because you have your preferences. But at the same time, there's manual supercars out there. So if that's really the thing, go find a manual supercar.
There's
Um,
the thing is, it's digital.
I don't know. To me, it's like you've got a wicked paddle shift situation set up, and you have two cars currently that are previous generation stick shifts where you get a hyper analog driving experience. Then you get the new driving experience, which is like driving a legitimate race car. It's
Mhm.
insane.
It's true.
I don't understand, and I will never understand how you can trade that kind of experience as your current setup for a three stick garage and no supercar.
Fair, fair.
But do what you want.
There's no lose situation in all of these scenarios, and there's
Exactly.
a chance that none of this aligns. And
Totally.
but I'll probably just end up getting stuck with this one thing that I don't understand. When you configure the ST, it automatically puts this into your build. When I build the Heritage, it's like chronograph ST. This is
Yeah.
like the Porsche design chronograph that is titanium, and it's cool, but I actually prefer the original one. This one is like not in the black, classic black. It does kind of use green and red cues from the interior design and the gauge cluster, and it also has like this manual shift pattern on the dial. It's a very busy dial. It works out to be $18,000 Canadian. I think it's 13 US.
Holy
I'm like,
shit.
can you just please remove that? I would
Oh,
rather, put a million options in
I
instead.
don't need
But I
that.
feel like it's built into the Heritage thing. And also the case back has the wheels here. It's kind of
Who
cool. If
cares?
it were like $1,000 or $2,000, I'd be like, sure, add it.
Yeah,
But for 18, like, wow,
Ah,
that's a good Rolex price. Like that's a Daytona. Yeah.
it
that's a lot
doesn't
of money.
look a dollar over $2,000.
And you
No.
can only get it if you're an ST allocation person. Like if you don't have it, if you're not buying an ST, you're not getting this watch. So I don't know. I hope that that's just a glitch in the configurator. But I keep on sending my configuration. I'm like, please make sure that the watch is not included.
I don't see how limiting the number of these watches is going to increase its desirability. Look at it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Ouch. Everyone's gonna have one and no one's gonna be able to sell it. Like, yeah, nah.
So the only reason it would make sense is just for the fact of like, okay, yeah, this is a life owner car, and I just want the watch that is the mate to it. But like, I have the watch that's the mate to the Turbo. I should show you.
Yeah,
Is
it's cool.
very giveawayable.
It's,
It's like
I'll take it. I mean, it's
wow.
not an $18,000 watch.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I can see you showing up to the racetrack with your new ST and then saying, you know what? I really want to wear this watch over one of my Daytonas. I don't see that ever happening, right? It's like, oh, maybe I'll wear it on my other wrist.
I'll wear it when I'm likely to catch on fire, when I bring one of my ridiculous vintage cars that I eventually trade up or down to, and then you're like, you're a fucking idiot for taking this to the track, and ball of
You
fire
know,
catches my wrist, and you're like, well, thank God he was wearing that watch.
then you'd be like Richard Hammond, and you'd have a cool watch that had been in a car fire,
That's
and
right.
at that point, then it would be a very cool watch.
Here's
So
one watch that's actually like mated to a car that I think it elevated the model. It's pretty interesting. I got to see it in person at Jamoro, and so it's the Gerard Perregaux Laureato limited edition for the Aston Martin Formula One. So it's like all full green ceramic. It's obviously in the similar focus to the Audemars Piguet one that blew up on the internet with Kendrick Lamar. But like when you look at the blue AP and then you look at the Laureato, like they're not even comparable. One looks like it is, and the other one is aspiring to be. But it's pretty interesting, and it's a lot of green, full green dial, and a full green ceramic bracelet. I think GP is definitely coming to its own and hitting another stride. But it was I think it worked out to be about 35 or 40 grand, and I can think of a lot of other watches I'd much rather have.
That's a lot of freaking money.
Yeah, but I mean at the same
I
time,
mean,
AP full ceramic is like more than 100. I don't even want to know
Yeah.
what it is because it's not even attainable. But yeah,
Uh,
when you look at the two back to back, it's like, why would I want this?
yeah.
I don't know. I think GP makes some very high quality timepieces, and I may understand why some people would prefer to have this over other watches on the market because it is a little bit different. And other than that, it's just not for me.
Yeah.
Like just straight up, this it's just not for me. But I can understand where people are coming from if they're like, yeah, look at this piece, man. God, this is super cool.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wow, this is a very high quality timepiece. Excellent horological eye. Great choice.
If it were
But that
10
would
grand,
be the end of my that would be the end of it.
Oh,
I
case
think,
back looks.
yeah, I think if it was 10 grand, I could
That
see it
is dope.
viable. But that's the Laureato at baseline, the steel. I think that that's a lot of watch for the money. But in the full ceramic at that price point, I don't know. I'm not there.
You gotta be an Aston fan.
I think
You
so.
really gotta be an
Uh,
Aston driver owner.
yeah.
Aston driver owner. My God. Aston Martin owner. That's how he drives it.
How we, that's how we
Oh yeah.
that's how I own my Aston driver.
Dr. Steve, everybody. So
Well,
what's up next? Let's move on from that. I'm
Steve's
sick
moving
of
into a
GP
wheelchair
already.
next. I think I think the main takeaways are that I am not getting a Gerard Perregaux. I would love an ST
Maybe.
or 4 liter, but I will keep your counseling at heart, and we'll just see. I'll keep all options open. But I wanna, before we go, first make sure that we talk about Peter's update to Peter's garage. Let's have an update to Peter's garage.
Oh,
Peter,
Oh,
can we just please impose upon you get the new Land Cruiser for fuck's sakes? I think that we need to have a for Peter to get the new Toyota Land Cruiser because I think it comes in Peter Blue, it comes to Peter ruggedness and Peter kind of quirkiness, kind of vintage vibe. But I've heard zero. I'm just hearing crickets from Peter as to whether he even likes it or not. What do you think about the new Land?
I don't even think I feel like that.
I've been sending you
Can
links
you
all
please
fucking day long.
plop a photo?
So this is the hybrid. This is the hybrid, right, Peter? So, can you
Let's
get
see it.
over a
That's
hybrid for these looks?
very cool. Oh yeah, I could easily get over a hybrid for sure. Hybrid's not. I have no issue with hybrid, and especially in like something like this. I mean, I'm all for a hybrid. I think it would be useful, and I don't mind the look. It's not the. I think it looks pretty badass. It looks just kind of like an almost like a Jeep 4Runner Cross. It looks big though. It looks really big.
And it'll keep.
It's cool. I think it's very cool.
Yeah, and it
I'm
also
scared
is
to hear.
more entry level at like I think around 50 US. But the thing is that obviously this is a different price range. But
Yeah,
I wonder if we can just get you into a really good lease.
there you go. Exactly.
I think we should still be focusing on
It's cool.
Raptor for you, though. What do
This
you?
thing's badass. I'm not gonna lie. I actually think it's pretty cool. I honestly haven't I haven't done much looking into it. I didn't really even realize it was a thing. But yeah, I think it's pretty badass. I think that would be something I definitely could see myself. Like it depends on, like you said, the price point. I think Raptor's cool too. I also looked a little bit at like the older Land Cruisers. They're pretty expensive. The Lexus like LX 470 or whatever it is are pretty cool too. Those like at Lexus, basically Land Cruiser versions. But again, yeah, they're all expensive. Everything's just expensive.
Yeah.
Bloody expensive.
Yeah.
The Raptors aren't. I haven't been looking too hard recently, to be honest.
But if you're gonna pay, I say go for the Land Cruiser over the Bronco.
I agree. The Land Cruiser's cooler for sure.
That one is the one that will stay with you forever versus
Yeah.
Bronco is kind of cool for maybe last year. It's already starting to show its age and the quality, especially on the entry level, not that
Yeah.
great. I think if you were going to get the Bronco, the what is it, the Raptor, the Bronco,
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah, that's different, right?
that's
But
kind of on a different level. But if we're keeping to your price point, I still think that we should get you a first original generation Raptor.
I think that'd be the most badass option.
Get
Well, Peter's a paramedic. He does have to go into the deep backwoods sometimes. So maybe there will be a few generous donors who need some back mountain paramedic assistance from time to time. They're like, yo, we need to get him a Raptor for his rapid response.
See?
The
There you
rapid response Raptor.
Yeah, I
go.
think it's definitely this is a work related expense there, Peter.
I think it could
Yeah,
be.
that's right. Maybe the government will pay for one for you.
Yeah.
Peter should run a track ambulance service, and you should just service all of Alberta racetracks in your own Raptor.
That'd be an
That's right.
idea. I wonder if what they have for a service out at Rocky Mountain. I know that I think your dad mentioned it, but I'd be curious to see what they have. Just charge cheaper than what everyone else charges.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally. We can get Peter to service the track while Steve services all of the drivers.
I'm just servicing myself.
I'm here to service myself.
I'm here to service myself, everybody. Clear the way.
So let's talk about a quick in summary here. Peter doesn't actually want a Toyota 4Runner. What he really wants is a rapid response Raptor. Please, somebody start a GoFund us for him.
That's right. I'm fully supportive.
I think
The
both
end.
good options. I would, if they want to, I'll take either one if they want to go fund me for it. If they can, the people can decide whatever they think is more appropriate.
The people.
Yeah.
And by that we mean basically just Chris. I think he's the only person who watches this shit anymore.
Yeah.
That's right, Chris. That's right. It's all on you.
Chains on
If
the
there
dash.
isn't someone to respond rapidly, it's your fault.
He's gonna be like, I don't care. What's the next watch? Stop talking about this.
I look forward to the next time we all get together and make fun of Steve, Peter. I look forward to these days.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's see if
still.
you get allowed to sleep in my garage again.
I look forward to the day. Oh yeah.
Peace, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in.